In the past several episodes of American Artifact, we have been in the heart of Bavaria, where we have been bringing artifacts from World War II back to the places that they were sourced from to talk about the history associated with them. We've brought Hitler's silver back to the Führerbau, his medals back to his Munich apartment. In Berchtesgaden, we went to the ruins of the Berghof to show where a soldier from the 3rd Infantry Division took a piece of the banner that flew there. And, of course, we had to go to the Eagle's Nest to show a number of pieces that were taken as souvenirs there as well. Now, just to be clear, we didn't take these pieces back to leave them there. That would be crazy. Everything that we took went home with us. But for various reasons, we couldn't bring everything. So in this episode, we're back at the Gettysburg Museum of History to take a look at what U.S. soldiers pulled from the house of Martin Bormann, who served as Hitler's secretary.
I'm going to go over a few items that are associated with Martin Bormann's house on the Obersalzberg and some of the tunnels beneath his house. So I'm going to start with this first aid kit. All the shelters up there would have these, and they were medical kits. And this was taken a long time ago by one of the caretakers up there. You know, the locals went through and took a lot of the stuff out of these bunkers and destroyed buildings, and there was a guy who was contracted by the Bavarian government to map the tunnels back in the 80s and 90s, and he also wrote this book called Inside Hitler's Mountain. He was able to befriend a lot of these people, and this first aid kit is actually in the book in Hitler's Mountain, and it's in a little better condition there because you know, when it was shipped here, some of the bottles unfortunately got broken. But I'm going to open it up, and I have it in bubble wrap and stuff because, you know, it is really fragile, and it is in our archives, so we don't really have it out on display. But this is the first aid kit that was taken from the Bormann tunnel, and there's some really good documentation behind it here. It has some of the paperwork that was with it, and the sworn statement from 1995 from the guy who took it, who was one of the caretakers up on the Obersalzberg. It was this guy here, and here is his original ID. And it's an interesting piece. You know, it's you got these bandages and various medicines, and some of the iodine and stuff has broken, so I don't want to mess with it too much, but it's definitely one in the book. It's documented, interesting. We'd like to restore it at some point, maybe when we get into the new annex of the museum. But interesting thing, you know, all the air raid shelters had similar ones, but this is the one from the Obersalzberg. This sign, it's also pictured in the book, and it's just an air raid shelter sign basically, and this was from one of the tunnels between the Bormann tunnel and the SXS barracks tunnel, and it's documented exactly where it was found. There, it was found near the Bormann tunnel, and we have a letter from the author and everything when he found it. This was actually found by him, and so this was found in the Bormann tunnel, and this is a Reichsleiter vehicle flag, or it's not really a flag, it's more of a plaque, but it would go on the vehicles, and I think some of his cars may have been kept under there. Some of those tunnels were pretty big, and there was access, I believe, for some of the cars. But this was found by an American soldier in 1945, and this was brought home. Interesting relic from the bunker under Bormann's house. This is a bottle of champagne. Now this is, or an empty bottle of champagne, I should say. This was found right near the entrance to the Bormann escape hatch from the tunnel, and what is right above there is Hitler's Berghof. So, you know, there's a famous story of the American soldiers celebrating the end of the war by drinking Hitler's champagne and Goering's liquors, and drinking them and throwing them off the porch. And of course, if you ever stand up at the Berghof, and you would have if you're ever up there, you can see it's just a stone's throw away from that other entrance to Bormann's tunnel. And you know, there's a good chance this is one of those bottles drank at that time. I think it's a really neat piece. So we've featured this piece on other videos on History Underground. This is a sconce that was taken out of Bormann's house. It's finely carved wood, and it has this this mark on the back, Obersalzberg, 1937, and it has the same mark as another eagle I'm going to show you in a minute. This one is a lot smaller than the other one, but both of them came out of Bormann's house.
Eric mentioned another decoration that came out of the Bormann house. Well, here it is right here, another big German Nazi eagle carved out of wood. And this thing is huge, so it's going to stay up on the wall. It would be way too awkward to try and bring down. But again, it has the same marking on the back as the piece that he just showed, and really has a lot of craftsmanship that went into this. So these guys were really getting the most exquisite and the best items to decorate their houses with, all at the expense of the German people and the people in the areas that they were conquering. But yeah, this is another item that was brought back by a U.S. soldier. All right, well, there you go. Those were just a few items that were pulled from the Bormann complex in the Obersalzberg by U.S. soldiers in the days and weeks and months after the end of the war. So be sure to check out other episodes of American Artifact and History Traveler, where we show the exact area where all of these things came from.